It's just not good enough for our club.
And it's starting to turn to resentment.
Could buy Messi and Ronaldo, and under Wenger we still wouldn't win the league.
How did one of British football's most successful managers go from being hailed as a revolutionist of the game to being hounded out of the club by his own fans?
This isn't something that's just come to a head now. This is something that's come to a head over a period of years. I mean, we're talking since we moved to the stadium, the new stadium.
It's not anger. It's just frustration. We just see the repetition of the same mistakes every season. You could write our season before it starts.
It's just got to the point at this club now where it just feels like all they care about is the revenue. The manager, he's just lost the players completely. It's just. It was sad to see.
I used to come here to the old ground confident that we could go toe-to-toe with anybody. Now you know that as soon as we get to play against a good team, we're just going to collapse.
Every single year Arsenal suffer badly through injuries. You know, it can't be bad luck every single year.
I was speaking to one of the organisers and he said that's why they did it this way, because the significance was we moved to the stadium to compete with Bayern Munich and we're not.
I think the protest is fully justified, I really do. No disrespect to the team that you support, but we're Arsenal FC. We should be competing for the league every year at least. We've not won the league now in 13 years. It's just not good enough for our club.
I'm not proud at all. I'm sad that it's come to this. I'm not proud at all. I don't walk around going, yeah, we got a protest, yeah. No. I'll highlight it, I'll promote it, because that's the whole idea what we're doing. We want the world's media to see that we're unhappy, and we want the club to see that we're unhappy. And believe me, they will.
I hate the divide. I just want to have like one set of fans together. So I really hate it. The board of the club need to come out and say something now and try to, you know, they need to make a tough decision. Either way, either they say Arsene Wenger stays on and give him a new contract, or at the end of the season they're not renewing his contract. Look at Leicester. Look at their board. The guy won the league for them last season. They had to make a very tough decision. When you're in charge, that's what happens. You know what I mean? Yeah. You've sometimes got to make difficult decisions. I don't see anybody. I kind of feel sorry for Arsene Wenger. He has to take all the flack. I don't see nobody from upstairs coming out and saying anything about the situation. They know it exists, and hence the frustration. That's why you've got protests and things like that. Somebody needs to come out and either way say what they're doing.
Exactly. Tell the fans what's happening. Is Wenger staying? Is he going? I think if Wenger comes out and he says, I'm going today, everyone will get behind the club.
I think that would be a good thing, because then at least we can start planning for the future. It would bring clarity. The fans would then. I think that would actually be a good thing for the fans. They would get behind the team. They'd put the focus into supporting the team.
But what would an Arsenal without Arsene look like? With success the underlying issue, are fans willing to risk the consistency of which the Frenchman built his career and the foundations of the North London club?
This isn't a manager that has spent 1 or 2 years at the club and you can easily, you know, like Man United with Van Gaal. It was very easy for Man United to fly planes over Old Trafford for David Moyes because there was no attachment. Yeah? They wouldn't have done that with Sir Alex Ferguson because there's that emotional attachment. And yes, you do still have the emotional attachment to Arsene because he gave us the Invincibles and stuff. But a lot of people now, that attachment's just disappeared. And it's starting to turn to resentment.
By hanging around for so long, Wenger is spoiling his reputation. And I think he's doing the club more harm than good these days.
What's to worry about? We're finishing fourth and getting knocked out in the second round of the Champions League every season after season. That's not success. What do I care about finishing fourth and getting money in the bank account? What does anyone else care? We don't see any of that money. We still pay thousands of pounds a season to go and watch them. We want to see a bit of change, a bit of ambition here.
People talk about consistency all the time, but you know, Tim Henman was consistent at Wimbledon. Never won it. He was consistent. No one will look back on Tim Henman and say that you can't compare him to Andy Murray. That's the frustration that we've got. We keep hearing this thing that Arsene Wenger's consistent, but finishing fourth last 16 every season.
And I've got a strong feeling that that's going to be the last time we see Arsenal in the Champions League for a few years to come. Everyone's saying that, no, we'll get fourth, but I really don't think we will get it this year. It's falling apart, it really is.
Sometimes you've got to take a few steps back to take it, you know what I mean? And it might be hard, But then I look at Chelsea and I go, why should it be? So they got it in them, but it needs someone to get it out of them.
7th, 4th, they make no difference to us. We qualify for the Champions League every year, and what happens in Munich happens. So for most of these guys here, 7th, 4th makes no difference. People always talk about the next level down. You know, that this club is big enough to go to the next level up.
Will Wenger's 20-year tenure ever be repeated in the cutthroat business of modern football? And what legacy will he leave with the fans who have taken to the streets to protest for his departure?
Wenger's got so much power at this club. What you got to remember, he's been here 21 years. He's almost become a victim of the power that he carries at the club. And because of that, I think, you know, he's not able to take a distant view.
Do you know what? It will always be remembered for this last couple of years as well. Sadly, you know, it would have been best for me if he would have left after we beat Hull in the cup final. Perfect. Nobody would have remembered, you know, that little dry spell after coming back to the Emirates. People would have appreciated it.
The club has spent a fortune recently, and the team hasn't improved at all. You know, I honestly think we could buy Messi and Ronaldo, and under Wenger we still wouldn't win the league. Yeah, I genuinely think that.
We've gone through 10 years of different players, but yet the same results. Who's the one common in all of that? Arsene Wenger. He's the one common denominator.
You're a legend for everything you've done for Arsenal. You've got our respect, but Wenger, you know, thank you, but it's time for a change.
Thanks for the memories, Arsene, but it's time to say goodbye.
The degree of separation between football fans and those that run their clubs has never been greater. Sisu have ripped the heart out of Coventry City, Craig White destroyed Rangers, and at Arsenal, well, it's about stagnation. Hundreds of their fans congregated to protest because they genuinely believe their club isn't being run properly. Whilst you may pose the question as to whether consistently finishing the top 4, but never really challenging for title honours is enough to create reactive affirmative action, it is all relative. All fans care first and foremost about what's happening to their club. For this section of Arsenal fans, enough is enough, and regardless of the impact of Wenger's inevitable departure, what will be will be. Do Arsenal fans owe Wenger patience given what he's done for the club? Let us know in the comments below.